Hey, what's up you guys? So I'm coming at you with another video in my MVRCK series, making videos really controversial kinda. And today we are going in testimonials, promoting hashtag Walkawasian, hashtag Axit, and let's get into it. But of course, if you're new to my channel, what is up? My name is Mitch, MVRCK Mitch, hey Mitch, all the Mitches, and pretty much I like talking about what I like talking about. So current events, reviews, and pop culture within the scope of entertainment, culture, purpose. So pretty much that means I just like talking about what I talk about. So TV movie reviews, social political commentary, be sure to check out all those videos as you're finishing this video. So going into this video, I wanted to provide walkaway stories and testimonials. Especially going that election is next week, I really want to provide stories in which people walked away from the Democrats, knowing that you don't have to be a default Democrat. Or people who were conservative and just realized how conservative they were, like myself. And so obviously to promote hashtag Axit, hashtag Walkawasian, and just to provide stories letting people know how they walked away from the Democratic Party, because just as much as Brandon Strzok did it, you know, I think we should do it for the Asian American community in whole, right? So for today's testimony, we have Lori, who I met at the Las Vegas motorcade hosted by the Filipino Americans. And when I did interview her, when I met with her at that event, she had a great interview, right?
Everyone vote for President Trump. I served in the military for 8 years and he's the best president that anyone could have. There's nothing else that he hasn't done that he said he wouldn't do, and he has done everything. This is critical. Every patriot, every American citizen, every immigrant who is a citizen here, vote for President Trump 2020.
And it kind of worked out. Like, she told me like, hey, you're Mitch, right? And I saw your post about this thing, so I got here because of it. And so it worked out in that, you know, she got there because of me, and now I am using her story to help hopefully other people walk away from the Democratic Party. So again, I'll just read her story. What I had Lori do is just write out her little testimony, and pretty much I'm just gonna read from her words, right? And so yeah, again, this is coming from Lori, and she writes, being a Filipino American in Northern California, I grew up accepting a lot of liberal ideas and beliefs just because it sounded good and it was taught in school. Most of my family and friends were all Democrats, and I always heard Californians always vote blue. It sounded good. It felt good thinking I was on the right team and that what everyone around me believed. Truthfully, I never even knew the difference between different political parties. I just heard Republicans were strict, rich, money-hungry people, and Democrats were for the people, trying to open the minds of the nation for everyone's right to be who they are and accepting of everyone. When I turned 18, I voted for Al Gore, never really understanding why. I thought Bill Clinton was a good president and was a Democrat, so I assumed his VP would make a good one. Well, he didn't end up winning the 2000 election, which was a bummer, but I figured it was just politics and it wasn't a big thing to me. Fast forward 20 years later to 2020 and the coronavirus, and the political social issues of the world are center of attention. I'm 38 years old, married with children, and an army veteran, and a person of strong faith in God and patriotic values. I started to research and question the political climate of the world. All I knew was people didn't like President Trump. I hadn't followed politics up until the world shut down in March 2020. That's when my friend posted a documentary that opened my eyes to the deep state and how they've been deceiving Americans for decades. I began to see Trump in a different light. He was not a politician, but a man who wanted America to become successful and prosperous again. He wanted to bring troops home from the Middle East and wanted to bring jobs back to the Americas. He was doing it. He was doing what he said he would, and he did it in less than 4 years of his presidency. He was undoing the policies and deals that the deals of the left, and standing up for America and its core values. But CNN, MSNBC, and Facebook never showed that. I began a long journey down a rabbit hole until I found myself not being able to sleep sometimes. The left always promised many things during the campaign, but never saw the benefits, especially with American minorities, but they would provide benefits to those who were illegally here. We were in so much debt from President Bush to President Obama. Why? The why became important. That is when I learned and saw how previous presidents have developed a globalist agenda. Why mainstream media and the politicians so opposed to the current president, because Donald Trump was not supposed to win in 2016 and he could not be bought. He wasn't even taking his $400,000 monthly salary as president. So why was President Trump doing this when he could just enjoy his life without political drama? Because he loved this country and he was fighting for it to keep its freedoms. As a veteran and American, I understood that. This pandemic woke me up. I began joining platforms with people who were awake to this truth. We began exchanging information that was out there. I began to see the Democrats run cities that being held hostage by these governors and city mayors who were allowing riots and violence to happen. This was not our president's fault. I walked away from the Democratic Party because our nation deserves better. President Trump showed it doesn't take decades to get things done. It just takes making the best decisions for the American people. I've always been a proud American, but I've never been more proud to be led by a president like I do with President Trump. He earned my respect and my vote this year. Insert slow clap. I mean, okay, so breaking that down, I mean, there's a lot of things that resonate with me, right? Because I'm in the military, I understood that fully. I don't know if Lori feels this way, but I know other people, especially if you've done honor guard, it means so much when you pass the flag to a retiree. When you hear the national anthem, it's not just the national anthem, it means the sacrifices that you made in your life. You know, the hard work, all the late nights, all the bullshit that you had to deal with in the military, because there is. let's get it right? And hearing the national anthem means so much. It's just like, and I would imagine the same feeling comes to Olympians, because you put so much hard work to get to that Olympic stage. And for us, as like every time I hear the national anthem in uniform, I remember my rank, how hard to get to the next rank. I remember the people that helped me got there. It means so much, right? And I'm like tearing up because, dude, when I hear the other people on the other side say death to America, that's real. Like, they hate America. And I love this country. When I go to the Trump rallies, when I go to Beverly Hills, and all of these patriots are waving the US flag, it means a lot, okay? I'm not saying that if you're in the Democrats that you're not American, but who is like, the Democrats is like definitely burning flags. At least they are not denouncing Antifa and those of those likes that are doing it, right? When you look on the right, it's like America, it's the real America. Okay? And it feels good, okay? And again, I'm not downplaying the real Americans, the patriotic Americans on the Democratic side. Obviously, you are fighting in your perspective for what is true and right. I get that. But when you have people, I did a video on the veteran's wife who was being shouted out just by saying the Pledge of Allegiance, as if it was a protest.
Those are two reasons why I recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I am going to recite it now because the flag is hidden. Because the flag is hidden, I'm holding up a flag. I would ask anyone who would like to stand with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
when you look at Hong Kong and they are singing our national anthem in protest of communist China.
All the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does the stars sprinkle then iron way? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
It means a lot, okay? And for Lori to understand this, I get it. I get it 100%. Because we want America to stay America, and I get it. There's people who just don't see past Trump. They just see the mainstream media of Trump, but they don't see what we're seeing. Whether it's out of ignorance or whether it's just because they're not researching what we know. They just see the surface area in which the mainstream media says, like, okay, Trump is bad. He says stupid things. Listen to what we say. I get that. I have family who see that, right? I have family who doesn't even know who Pence is. They just know that Pence is the guy with the white hair, right? Those of us that are in constant, if you're like me, I watch so many people on YouTube. I always like Mark Tim Pool. He's where I get my news. But then again, I watch other people. Carolyn Borisenko, Fleckis Talks, Slightly Offensive. We have Blaze TV. We have Daily Wire. We have like even Lives Matter or Steve Turley. Like, I listen to a lot, right? And so you are inundated with this news. So you see all of this stuff. But when you talk to someone who is quote unquote a normie and you say like the Bibles are burning, they don't know what you're talking about, because it's not being published on mainstream media. Wrapping it up, I love what Lori wrote. Thank you, Lori, for sharing your story. I really hope that someone reads this, someone comes to this channel and listens to this and like, hey, I'm a veteran too. Why don't I look into what Lori is saying, right? Because I agree 100%. Trump wasn't supposed to win in 2016. I agree with this with other people. Maybe he could have been a troll, for all he cares, right? It was just to say how effed up the system was to even allow him to be the Republican candidate, right? But once he got into office, he realized how corrupt everything was. And he realized, especially in this past 4 years, the American people was behind his back and he was willing to fight. There's no way he's going to all these Trump rallies, in general, and be like, people are shouting, I love him, not in a pedestal platform, but like, hey, you are doing this for the American people, and he says, I love you back. And he's willing to fight for us. Not because out of some, I'm sure there's some ego that goes with it, but he realized that this is a problem, he realized that if he doesn't fight, China's going to take over, the woke left is going to take over, critical race theory is going to take over, to the point where we don't even recognize America anymore. You know, and then again, just leaving as just one more note, I think it's really great that this whole election season has woken up a lot of people. How many people do you know were not into politics up until this election? I think it's a vast majority of people, myself included. I didn't care for politics because it was a status quo. But now things have gone to the point where no, we're invested. We're in this. And so I think when it comes to this video, when it comes to these testimonies, please share with other people. I get it. By this time, everyone has their stances, but maybe you know that one person. Maybe you know that one person that is on the fence, who needs that one last push to be like, wow, I didn't think about it that way. Please share this video. Obviously, this isn't about like building my channel. Obviously, a part of it is, but this is more about saving America, right? This is about when I promote Walkawasian, when I promote Asian Exit, it's not yes and no. It's not to bring credibility to the movement, but it's helping people. You know, we want people to wake up and be more informed and not just be default Democrats because it's what the minority vote is supposed to be about. You know, we like Latinos are waking up, right? You do not play Despacito, right? And think you got the Latino vote, right? You don't just say Chelsea Handler that I need to remind 50 Cent is black so he needs to vote Democrat. Asian Americans, BLM is attacking your businesses. Y'all don't need to support this. I'm not saying locally Black Lives Matter as a movement. Like, yes, Black Lives Matter in general. But the people who are co-opting the movement, who are taking advantage of the movement, that don't even care about Black Lives Matter, they just are just using it as a front. If not just as an excuse to loot and pillage, right? So that, please understand the difference, right? And so when I say that Black Lives Matter don't care about Asians, please understand the difference. So, I think this is like, sorry, I'm hyped up reading this because it gets me passionate, right? And I hope it gets you passionate because there's people who is backing my channel now that be like, hey, I appreciate what you're doing and you need to do more. So this is it. This is why I'm doing my channel. This is why people need to walk away from the Democrats because, you know what? This Democratic Party, I said it in other videos, sorry, I'm ranting here, but I said in other videos, this is not the Democratic Party 10 years ago. Not the Democratic 5 years ago. This is totally different. So, maybe it was cool to be Democrat back in the 90s, but it ain't no more, okay? So, do yourself a favor, please help out. Not only vote, but please share this with someone that you feel personally close to, like, hey, check out this video. And maybe it runs long. Sorry about that. I'm just talking about my feelings here, right? But I just want to be as genuine as possible as I can. So, with that said, thank you for watching. You can follow me on my Instagram at HeyMitchMitch. You can follow my joint Instagram at It's Mandatory Fun where I do other videos with my friend Jen. I'm also on Parlor, Maverick Mitch. And yes, I'm taking a conscious effort to talk slowly. Alright, so thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Peace, peace, peace. Be with you.